Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt like money is running away from you? You work hard, you hustle, yet somehow, it slips through your fingers. Frustrating, isn't it? What if I told you, there's a way to stop chasing money, and instead, let money chase you? Yes. You heard that right. And it starts with a simple yet powerful tool, affirmations. Florence Scovel Shinn, a pioneer in the law of attraction, believed that words are not just sounds. Words are seeds. They are seeds that grow into reality. Think about it. When someone constantly tells themselves, "I'm unlucky with money," what happens? Their subconscious believes it. They create situations that make it true. But when you say, "Money flows to me easily and abundantly," something magical begins. It's like planting flowers in a garden. Would you water weeds or beautiful flowers? Which one will grow? Your words decide that. Let me tell you about Sarah. A single mother, juggling 2 jobs, living paycheck to paycheck. She started repeating this affirmation every morning. "I am a magnet for money. Opportunities find me effortlessly." A week later, a client unexpectedly paid her double for a project. A month later, a neighbor offered her a freelance job that changed her income entirely. Money started hunting Sarah, not the other way around. Could this happen to you too? Absolutely. But you must believe it. You must say it with your heart, not just your lips. Be specific. Don't just say, "I want money." Say, "I am open to receive $5,000 this month through creative opportunities." Feel it. Words without emotion are like seeds without water. Feel the abundance as if it's already yours. Repeat daily. Consistency is the heartbeat of manifestation. Morning, noon, night. Let it sink into your subconscious. Here's the secret most people overlook. Affirmations work because they shift your mindset. You stop seeing obstacles and start seeing opportunities. Imagine 2 people at a job fair. One thinks, "Nothing here is for me." The other thinks, "Which opportunity is coming to me today?" Who do you think walks away with the best offer? Your mind attracts reality. Always. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Picture your life with no financial struggle. You wake up, excited, free, abundant. Your bills are paid, your dreams are unfolding, and yes, money finds you wherever you go. Can you feel it? That's not a fantasy. That's your future. And it begins with just a few words. Tonight, I want you to repeat this with me. Money flows to me easily, abundantly, and effortlessly. I am a magnet for wealth. Say it. Feel it. Live it. Because once you plant that seed, the universe will water it. Money will hunt you. And life will become a playground of endless possibilities. Remember, it's not luck. It's not hard work alone. It's alignment. Alignment of words, feelings, and beliefs. Are you ready to let money chase you? Start today. Say your affirmations. Believe them. Watch the magic unfold. Thank you. In this video you will listen these key takeaways. Words are powerful seeds that shape your reality. Positive affirmations attract money when repeated with belief and emotion. Specific, consistent, and heartfelt affirmations work best. A shift in mindset opens doors to opportunities money naturally follows. Real-life examples prove affirmations can transform financial situations. The process starts with conscious alignment, words, feelings, and beliefs in harmony. Have you ever stopped to notice the power that words carry, not just in conversation, but in shaping the very world around us? It's astonishing, really, when you think about it. Words are not just sounds we speak, they are the architects of our reality. Imagine walking through a garden. Every word you speak is like a seed that you plant in that garden. Some seeds grow into flowers, some into weeds. Which ones will flourish depends entirely on what you nurture with your attention, your belief, and your emotion. Take a moment and picture a young man named Daniel. Daniel had always struggled with money. Every month, he found himself scrambling to cover bills, wondering how he would make it to the next paycheck. One evening, frustrated and exhausted, he muttered under his breath, "I'm just unlucky with money. Nothing ever works out for me." It was almost automatic, an offhand comment, a phrase he had repeated so many times it had become part of him. But those words were not harmless. They were seeds, and he was watering the weeds. His subconscious, like a diligent gardener, took those words seriously. It began shaping circumstances that reflected exactly what he had planted: struggle, scarcity, and disappointment. Then one day, Daniel stumbled across a book by Florence Scovel Shinn. He read a line that struck him deeply: "Your word is your wand." He paused, letting it sink in. The words we speak, the words we think, are not merely decorative, they have power. They cast spells upon our own lives. Words shape our beliefs, and beliefs shape our actions. And through that, our entire reality can be altered. Daniel decided to experiment. The next morning, he looked in the mirror and said aloud, "I am a magnet for wealth. Money comes to me effortlessly and abundantly." At first, it felt strange. His voice sounded foreign to his own ears. But he persisted, day after day, repeating it as though he were planting seeds in a barren field, hoping for a miracle. Within a week, something curious began to happen. He noticed a small rebate he hadn't expected. A client paid a bill earlier than usual. These were minor things, but to Daniel, they were signs that something had shifted. And the more he spoke the words, the more opportunities began to appear. A neighbor asked him to help with a freelance project. A friend mentioned a job opening at a company he had long admired. Each event, small at first, began building momentum. The seeds he planted with words were starting to grow into tangible results. Words do not just influence external reality, they influence the inner world as well. Imagine the human mind as a room. Thoughts and words are like furniture. If the room is filled with old, broken pieces, phrases like "I can't," "I'm unlucky," "money hates me," the room feels cramped, heavy, and uninviting. But if you fill it with affirming words, phrases that spark hope, gratitude, and possibility, the room expands. It becomes a space where new ideas can flourish. And the strange thing is, when the mind expands, the world around it seems to stretch too. Doors appear where there were walls. Opportunities arise where there seemed to be none. Let me tell you about Maria, a single mother raising 2 children on a tight budget. She constantly feared paying the bills and worried about the next grocery trip. One night, after tucking her kids into bed, she whispered into the darkness, "I am financially secure. Abundance flows to me easily." It was barely audible, barely believable, but she said it anyway. Within days, a distant relative sent her a small but unexpected gift of money. Then her landlord offered her a temporary reduction in rent. Each affirmation, repeated with courage, was a seed of change. And with each seed, Maria began to feel a quiet, unstoppable sense of hope growing inside her. Words, once spoken with intention, were altering her reality. The beauty of this is that it works even when circumstances seem impossible. Imagine a barren desert, a place where no growth seems possible. Planting seeds there might seem futile, but with water, sunlight, and care, life emerges. Words are like those seeds. Even in lives that feel barren, filled with debt, stress, and worry, a single affirming phrase, repeated consistently, can create an oasis of opportunity. Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasized this, saying, "Every word you speak is a declaration that sets a pattern in motion." This is not just poetic advice, it is a principle that has changed countless lives, one spoken word at a time. Even in our everyday interactions, words hold subtle but profound power. Think about the last time someone told you, "You can do it," or "You're capable." Didn't you feel a spark of possibility ignite inside? Conversely, think about the last time someone said, "You'll never succeed," or "This is impossible." That doubt, that hesitation, it lingers. Words are not neutral, they are instructions for your mind and, ultimately, your life. Consider the story of a small coffee shop owner named Leo. His business was struggling, and he was ready to close the doors. One morning, a friend suggested he start a daily ritual of affirming, "My business thrives and attracts loyal, happy customers every day." At first, it seemed absurd. But he tried it anyway. Within weeks, people started noticing the shop, sharing it with friends, coming in more frequently. Leo began taking small, inspired actions that aligned with his words, improving his menu, greeting every customer warmly, and offering a welcoming space. The affirmations didn't just magically produce money, they rewired his mind, allowing him to see opportunities he had been blind to before. Words are powerful, but they also compel us to act in ways that align with them. And so, the lesson is clear: your words are the seeds of your future. Every time you speak, whether to yourself or others, you are planting a garden. Will it be a garden of weeds or a garden of flowers? Will it be a life of struggle or a life of abundance? It all begins with conscious, intentional words. Words that are believed, felt, and repeated. Words that carry the vibration of what you want to experience. Even when no one else believes in your words, you must. Even when circumstances are bleak, your words are a beacon of change. Words are the invisible hands that shape your reality, silently calling opportunities, wealth, and happiness toward you. Each affirmation is a spark, and each spark has the potential to ignite a fire that transforms your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. And the most remarkable part: this power is available to anyone, right now. You don't need permission. You don't need a degree, a title, or a perfect past. You simply need to speak, believe, and feel the words that align with the life you desire. Money, opportunity, and abundance are not external prizes, they are the natural result of planting the right seeds, nurturing them daily, and trusting the process. Let's talk about real-life examples, because nothing drives a point home quite like a story you can see, feel, and relate to. Stories make the abstract real, they turn concepts into living, breathing experiences. And when it comes to affirmations, seeing them work in someone else's life makes the possibilities undeniable. Take Sarah, for instance. Sarah was a single mother, juggling 2 jobs, barely making ends meet, and often lying awake at night, worried about bills, groceries, and her children's future. Every day felt like a race she couldn't win, a puzzle with missing pieces. Then, one day, she heard about the power of affirmations, and she decided to try something radical. She would say aloud every morning, "I am a magnet for money. Opportunities find me effortlessly." It seemed almost too simple. She laughed at herself the first morning, whispering the words like a private joke, half expecting nothing to change. But change didn't happen in some dramatic, magical moment. It began subtly. A client she hadn't expected to hear from called her, offering double the payment for a project she had completed weeks earlier. At first, she brushed it off as coincidence. Then another opportunity appeared, this one from a neighbor who needed help with a freelance task. She hesitated, skeptical, but accepted. And just like that, her income began to grow in ways she hadn't imagined. Money wasn't something she had to chase anymore, it was finding her, naturally, as if the universe itself were guiding it into her hands. What's remarkable about Sarah's story isn't just the money, it's the mindset shift that made it possible. The affirmations weren't magic in isolation, they rewired how she saw herself, her worth, and her possibilities. Each morning, she reminded herself that she was deserving, capable, and open to receiving. And with each repetition, her subconscious started to align her actions, decisions, and attention toward opportunities she would have ignored before. Suddenly, doors that had always seemed closed were opening, and she was walking through them with confidence. Consider this scenario. Imagine standing in a room filled with unopened doors. Some lead to opportunity, some to disappointment. If you go in thinking, "I will fail, I can't do this," your mind only notices doors that confirm your belief. But if you say, "I am capable, I attract opportunities and abundance," suddenly your eyes are drawn to doors that lead to success. The universe hasn't changed, the way you perceive it has. Affirmations are the tool that recalibrates your perception. Sarah's affirmations were like a spotlight, illuminating the doors that mattered most. It's not just about external results, it's about the transformation within. Think about John, a graphic designer who felt stuck in a dead-end job, convinced that financial freedom was for other people, not him. He started saying, "I am worthy of wealth. Abundance flows to me in expected and unexpected ways." He didn't see immediate results, but something inside him shifted. His confidence grew. He started pitching to clients he had previously thought were out of reach. He began taking calculated risks. And within months, He landed a major client who changed his financial trajectory entirely. The affirmation didn't directly hand him money, it prepared him to see, recognize, and act on opportunities that were always around him. Now, imagine the ripple effect. Sarah's financial improvement allowed her to take her children on experiences she had long dreamed of: visits to museums, trips to the park, little adventures that enriched their lives. John's new income let him invest in his personal growth, attend workshops, and even donate to causes he cared about. Affirmations don't just attract wealth, they attract transformation, freedom, and a sense of empowerment that touches every part of your life. Let's make it even more tangible. Picture a coffee shop owner named Anna. Her cafe was struggling, and she worried every morning about paying her staff. One day, she began speaking affirmations: "I am attracting loyal customers who value my work. Prosperity flows into my cafe daily." She didn't just repeat words, she believed them. Within weeks, more customers came through her door. Word of mouth spread. She began noticing small acts that previously went unseen: a tourist leaving a generous tip, a local blogger recommending her cafe, a supplier offering a discount. Her affirmations weren't controlling the world, they were controlling her perception, allowing her to recognize opportunities she might have missed. The beauty of these examples lies in their simplicity. There's no secret formula, no complex system. What works is a deliberate practice of speaking words that embody the reality you want to experience. By repeating affirmations, you are not just asking for wealth, you are declaring it. You are planting seeds in fertile soil, nurturing them with belief, and letting them grow naturally. The universe doesn't need to be convinced, your subconscious mind does. And once your subconscious aligns with the words you speak, your actions, choices, and awareness naturally align with abundance. Even skeptics can see the pattern. Look at anyone who has achieved extraordinary success, they often speak in terms of what they are becoming, rather than what they lack. They set intentions, affirm possibilities, and immerse themselves in the language of their desired future. Why? Because the mind responds to what it believes, and beliefs are built with words. Sarah, John, Anna, they all discovered that when you affirm what you want, rather than focus on what you fear, you create a gravitational field for opportunity. Now, consider your own life for a moment. What words do you plant daily? Are they seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation? Or are they seeds of possibility, confidence, and wealth? If you want money to find you rather than chase it endlessly, you must start speaking it into existence. Speak as if it's already yours. Say it until your heart believes it. Repeat it until your mind cannot deny it. Because the mind doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality, it simply follows what you feed it consistently. Sarah's story, John's transformation, Anna's cafe, they are proof that affirmations work when spoken with conviction. They show us that the key is not just saying words, but living them, feeling them, and trusting that each seed you plant has the potential to grow into something extraordinary. The world may seem chaotic, uncertain, and overwhelming, but when you take control of your words, you take control of the direction of your life. Money, opportunities, and abundance are not mere chance, they are the natural result of aligned thoughts, words, and beliefs. And the most exciting part? Your story can begin today. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or perfect circumstances. You simply need to start speaking, believing, and feeling the reality you wish to experience. Because once you do, the universe will respond, and money will begin to hunt you in ways you never imagined, just like it did for Sarah, John, and Anna. Let's dive into the how of affirmations, because it's one thing to hear that they work, but it's another to understand how to make them truly powerful in your life. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking at yourself, and speaking words that shape the very reality you want to live. It's not just repetition, it's deliberate action for your mind and heart. Take Michael, for example. Michael had been struggling to grow his small online business for years. He was competent, talented, but he was drowning in doubt. Every day, he would tell himself, "I'm just not good enough. People won't pay for what I do." Then one day, after reading Florence Scovel Shinn, he decided to try something different. He didn't just say affirmations, he crafted them. "I attract clients who value my work and pay generously. I am abundant and prosperous in every way. He said it every morning, every evening, and sometimes in between. At first, the words felt foreign. His voice even cracked a little. But the magic was not in the words themselves, it was in the emotion and belief he infused into them. Words without feeling are like seeds dropped on concrete, they don't grow. Michael started feeling gratitude for every small payment, every inquiry, every positive comment. He imagined the joy of his future clients using his services, the freedom he would feel when he could pay off debts, the security he would provide for his family. This feeling was the water and sunlight that allowed the words to take root in his subconscious mind. 1 week later, something remarkable happened. A client who had previously rejected his proposal came back, offering him a larger contract than he had ever imagined. A friend recommended him to another client, and soon Michael realized he was booking more projects than he could handle. His affirmations hadn't just changed his mindset, they had aligned his attention with opportunities he had previously overlooked. Suddenly, he wasn't chasing clients, they were coming to him. What Michael experienced is the principle of specificity. Saying, "I want money" is vague, it's like casting a net with holes too large to catch anything meaningful. But when you articulate exactly what you desire, you give your subconscious a target, a clear signal of what to attract. Think of it like programming a GPS. If you type in somewhere interesting, it will take you in any direction. But if you type in 123, Main Street, you will arrive precisely where you intend. Words with detail and clarity give your mind direction. Another story comes from Priya, a young artist struggling to sell her paintings. She began saying, "I sell my art to people who love it, and I am compensated generously for my creativity." At first, she didn't see immediate results. But she noticed a shift in herself. She started approaching galleries she had previously felt too intimidated to contact. She began networking with other artists, building relationships she had ignored before. And then, in a twist she could not have predicted, a collector discovered her work online and bought 3 pieces in one day. Priya realized her affirmations had not only changed her external circumstances but had reprogrammed her internal belief system. She had begun to see possibilities, take action, and recognize opportunities she would have otherwise dismissed. Consistency is the secret ingredient. Affirmations are not a one-time spell, they are a steady drumbeat that beats into your subconscious, reshaping the patterns of thought that dictate your reality. Picture a river carving through rock over decades. Each repetition of your affirmation is a drop of water, slowly but surely sculpting the landscape of your mind. Eventually, what once seemed impossible, the smooth, flowing river of abundance, becomes inevitable. Emotion is equally vital. Imagine telling yourself, "I am wealthy," without feeling it. It's like reading a love letter aloud without emotion. It might sound right, but it doesn't touch the heart. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that feeling is the fuel of affirmations. When you feel abundance as if it is already yours, your subconscious mind accepts it as reality, and your actions naturally align with that reality. The universe responds not to words alone but to the vibration behind them. Consider Lena, a teacher who always felt trapped by her salary. She began using affirmations but paired them with visualization. Every morning, she pictured herself receiving extra income, paying off debts, and gifting her family little luxuries she had never allowed herself. Her words were no longer empty, they carried life, hope, and certainty. Within months, she was offered a part-time consultancy that doubled her income. The affirmations didn't simply attract money, they shifted her perception, her courage, and her energy, creating a chain reaction that brought results. And here's the most fascinating part. The how of affirmations is not about forcing outcomes, it's about alignment. Your words, your feelings, and your intentions must all point in the same direction. When they do, the world rearranges itself to match your inner reality. Opportunities that once seemed invisible suddenly appear. Connections happen naturally. Money flows, not through struggle, but through a natural, almost magnetic attraction. Every day, we are telling stories to ourselves, whether we notice or not. "I'll never get ahead, I can't save money, opportunities never come my way." These are words that shape a life of limitation. But when you intentionally speak affirmations, you tell a new story. I am abundant. I am open. I attract wealth easily. The story changes everything: the way you think, the way you act, and the way the world responds. So when you ask, how do I make affirmations work? Remember this. Craft them with specificity, feel them with emotion, repeat them with consistency, and align your actions with your words. Speak them with the certainty that the seeds you plant today will grow into a garden of opportunity tomorrow. Just as Michael, Priya, and Lena discovered, the transformation begins inside before it is reflected outside. The how is simple in principle but profound in effect. Every word you speak, every phrase you affirm, is a step toward a life where money and opportunity no longer hide, they seek you out. Now, let's talk about something even deeper than affirmations themselves: the shift in mindset that makes them work. Because words alone don't create magic, the mind must be ready to receive. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, dark forest. On one side, you see thick trees, shadows, and uncertainty. On the other, a golden path opens, lined with sunlight and possibilities. Your mindset determines which path you walk, and it determines what you notice along the way. Take Thomas, a software developer who had always dreamed of starting his own business. He worked long hours at a job that paid the bills but drained his spirit. Every time he imagined leaving, fear crept in. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? These thoughts weren't just fleeting, they were like invisible chains keeping him rooted in stagnation. One day, he read that the mind sees what it expects to see. If you expect failure, your mind scans life for proof of failure. If you expect success, it looks for opportunities, guidance, and support. Thomas decided to experiment. Each morning, he affirmed, I am capable of building a thriving business. Opportunities flow to me effortlessly. But he didn't stop there, he trained his mind to look for solutions, not obstacles. When a project seemed complicated, instead of panicking, he asked, what's the next step I can take? When a client hesitated, he asked, how can I serve them better? Slowly, his perspective shifted. What once seemed like a mountain now looked like a series of manageable steps. This shift is subtle but powerful. Imagine two people attending a job fair. One thinks, nothing here is for me, scanning the room with skepticism and doubt. The other thinks, which opportunity is waiting for me today? Their eyes, ears, and intuition are tuned differently. The second person notices connections, conversations, and opportunities that the first person completely misses. The first person walks away empty-handed, while the second leaves with a sense of possibility and a list of potential leads. The difference isn't luck, it's the mindset. Let's bring it closer to home. Remember Maya, a young teacher struggling to manage her finances? She constantly worried about bills, rent, and future expenses. Every time something went wrong, she saw disaster. But then she began saying, I am financially secure. Abundance flows to me. More importantly, she started seeing the world through that lens. A late payment from a client was no longer a catastrophe, it was a signal to adjust, plan, and seek alternatives. Her mindset shifted from fear to possibility, and with that shift came actions that she hadn't considered before, reaching out to new clients, offering tutoring services online, even negotiating flexible payment terms. The change in perspective created a new reality. The mind is like a lens on a camera. If the lens is foggy, blurry, or focused on negative patterns, your whole picture of life looks dim. But when you clean the lens, adjust the focus, and tune your perspective to see possibilities, suddenly the world appears vibrant, full of opportunities, and alive with potential. Affirmations are like wiping that lens, they remove the fog of fear and doubt and allow your mind to focus on abundance. Consider Raj, an engineer who had always dreamed of investing in real estate. Every time he thought about taking a risk, anxiety paralyzed him. What if I make the wrong decision? What if I lose everything? His mindset was rooted in scarcity. But when he began using affirmations, I make wise financial decisions. Wealth flows to me through smart choices, he noticed a subtle but profound change. Instead of seeing obstacles, he began seeing options. He researched, he asked questions, he connected with mentors. Within a year, he had successfully purchased and rented 2 properties, creating a steady income stream. The difference wasn't luck, it was a mind trained to see opportunity, to align with possibility, and to trust in its own capability. Even small perspective shifts matter. Imagine walking down a busy street. Someone bumps into you, and your first thought is anger. You see hostility, rudeness, or misfortune. Now imagine walking the same street with the thought, today is full of opportunities and surprises. That same bump might be seen as an accident, a chance to smile, or even an unexpected conversation that changes your day. Mindset shapes perception, and perception shapes reality. What you choose to focus on expands. The most profound lesson is that mindset is the foundation for everything else. Affirmations, actions, opportunities, they all flow naturally from a mind that expects abundance. If you believe the world is a place of scarcity, you will unconsciously block wealth and opportunity. If you believe the world is abundant and supportive, doors open, ideas flow, and money seeks you out. Sarah, Michael, Thomas, Raj, Maya, they all demonstrate the same principle. When the mind shifts, life shifts. And here's the beautiful part, this mindset is not fixed. No matter where you start, fearful, doubtful, exhausted, you can choose to cultivate a perspective that draws abundance. You can train yourself to notice opportunities, respond to challenges creatively, and see every obstacle as a chance to grow. Every affirmation you speak reinforces that mindset. Every time you choose to focus on possibility instead of limitation, you water the seed of abundance. So when you speak words like, money flows to me effortlessly, or I am a magnet for opportunities, you are not only planting seeds, you are reshaping the way your mind perceives the world. The fear, doubt, and scarcity that once clouded your vision begin to dissolve. You start seeing pathways where you once saw walls. You begin to recognize doors of opportunity, even in places you had dismissed before. Your reality doesn't change overnight, but your ability to engage with it, to notice, to act, to attract, transforms everything. Mindset is the invisible engine behind manifestation. Without it, affirmations may feel empty. With it, even small words, small actions, small opportunities can create exponential results. Abundance flows not just because you speak words, it flows because your mind is aligned, open, and ready to receive. And when your mind is ready, money will not hide. It will find you, because your perspective creates a magnet that draws it toward you. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and imagine something. Close your eyes if you can. Picture your life free from financial worry. Picture waking up each morning not with anxiety, not with the stress of counting pennies, but with a sense of ease, excitement, and possibility. Can you feel it? That lightness in your chest, that quiet thrill in your heart. That is not a fantasy. That is the life waiting for you, the life that affirmations and a shifted mindset can reveal. Let me tell you about David. David had worked in corporate finance for over a decade. Every day was the same: emails, spreadsheets, meetings, deadlines. He had a decent salary, but debt, bills, and the relentless pressure to keep up left him drained. Money was always on the chase, always fleeting. Then, one evening, on a quiet walk, he stumbled across a quote: "Say these words, and the universe will hear you." He laughed at first, thinking, really? Just words? But something stirred inside him, a tiny spark of hope. He decided to try. Each morning, he repeated, "Money flows to me easily, abundantly, and effortlessly. Opportunities find me everywhere I go." At first, it felt strange, even embarrassing. But he persisted, whispering the words as he brewed coffee, as he commuted, even under the hum of fluorescent office lights. Slowly, his perception began to change. He noticed small things he had never paid attention to before: a colleague suggesting a freelance side project, a friend mentioning a consulting opportunity, a past client sending a referral. The suspense of watching life change is thrilling. It's like waiting for a seed to sprout after you've planted it. You water it every day. You hope it grows, but you cannot see what's happening beneath the soil. And then, one morning, you notice a tiny green shoot. That's what it feels like when money begins to hunt you. Small, unexpected signs appear first, almost imperceptibly, and then momentum builds. Opportunities gather like leaves on the wind, and suddenly, you're surrounded by abundance you hadn't dared to imagine. Now imagine standing in that moment, the tension and excitement coursing through you. Your old life, the struggle, the worry, the constant chase, feels like a distant memory. Your heart races because you realize you are in control now. You are not waiting for money to appear, it is seeking you. You are the magnet. The world is aligning to your words, your mindset, your vision. The suspense is not in fearing what might happen, but in watching, breathless, as the universe delivers exactly what you asked for, in forms you never anticipated. Take Emma, for example, a freelance writer who had spent years scraping by. Every morning, she worried, will there be work today? How will I pay my rent? Then she began a new ritual. I attract high-paying clients who value my creativity. Wealth flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. At first, nothing seemed different. But she persisted. And then, almost imperceptibly, the change began. A former client reached out, offering a premium project. A stranger on social media commissioned a long-term contract. Another client referred her to an agency. The suspense, the uncertainty, became a kind of electric anticipation. Every day, she whispered her affirmations, not knowing exactly how or when opportunities would appear, but trusting that they would. That's the beauty of it. You don't need to see the entire path. You don't need to know the exact timing or method. All you need is to plant the seed and maintain your focus, your belief, and your emotional connection. The suspense is the thrill of possibility. The excitement comes from trusting in the unseen, in the power of your words, and in the alignment of your mind and heart. Think about it this way: the universe is like a theater. The stage is set, the actors are ready, and the scenes are waiting to unfold. Your affirmations are the cue. Your mindset is the director. When the lights rise, the performance begins, and money, opportunities, abundance, freedom plays its part, moving toward you naturally, almost magnetically. Every whispered word, every heartfelt affirmation, is a signal that sets the scene in motion. And here's the key: emotional connection makes the difference between ordinary words and transformative words. Imagine whispering, I am abundant, but without hope, without feeling. Compare that to speaking it with your heart open, your mind convinced, and your imagination alive. The latter is electric. It carries a vibration that resonates beyond your own mind, reaching out into the world, attracting what you desire. That's why the suspense feels real, why the anticipation feels almost tangible. It is a direct response to the energy you create. Let me share one last example. Carlos, a young entrepreneur, had invested his savings into a small startup. Every month was a roller coaster of anxiety. Then he began repeating affirmations every day: my business grows steadily. Success and abundance flow to me effortlessly. At first, nothing seemed to change, and he feared he was imagining it all. But one day, a local investor walked into his cafe, intrigued by his product. Another day, a magazine featured his story online. Step by step, what once felt uncertain became tangible. The suspense, the waiting, the not knowing, transformed into awe. Carlos realized that the thrill of possibility, the anticipation of unseen outcomes, was part of the power of this process. The universe was responding, aligning, moving in ways he could not have predicted. And this is exactly what I want you to feel right now. That flutter in your chest, that tiny spark of excitement when you imagine your life abundant, free, and secure, that is the beginning of your journey. Affirmations are not just words. They are invitations. They are signals sent out into the universe that say, I am ready. I am open. I am worthy. The suspense, the waiting, the thrill of watching life unfold, it is all part of the process, part of the magic. Because here's the truth: when you speak words with belief, when you align them with feeling and intention, the world doesn't resist. Money doesn't hide. Opportunities don't slip away. They seek you out. And that, my friends, is the electrifying, heart-racing, life-changing thrill of watching your affirmations work in real time. It is suspense, yes, but it is also joy, anticipation, and the undeniable knowledge that abundance is on its way, hunting you down like it was always meant to be. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and imagine this, your life exactly as you've always dreamed it. Picture waking up without financial worry. Picture feeling the freedom to make choices that excite you. Picture money not as a struggle, but as a companion flowing toward you, supporting you, rewarding your efforts and your belief. Can you see it? Can you feel it? That vision isn't distant, it isn't impossible. It's already within reach, waiting for the moment you choose to claim it. Let me tell you about Javier. He had spent years feeling trapped in a dead-end job, convinced that financial success was reserved for others. Every day felt heavy. Every paycheck felt small. But one morning, he decided to try something radical. He looked in the mirror and said, "Money flows to me easily, abundantly, and effortlessly. I am a magnet for wealth." He repeated it. He felt it. He believed it. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the universe began to respond. A client unexpectedly paid him extra. A friend referred him to a high-paying opportunity. A small side project turned into a long-term contract. Javier realized that he wasn't chasing money anymore, money was finding him. This is the exact moment I want you to imagine. That first spark when you realize the power is in your hands. You don't need to wait for a promotion, a lucky break, or someone else's permission. You don't need a perfect plan or flawless timing. What you need is belief, intention, and action. Say the words. Feel the words. Live the words. Plant the seeds, water them with emotion, and watch as life begins to rearrange itself around your vision. Let me ask you something. Are you ready to let money chase you? Are you ready to step into a life where abundance is not a dream, but a reality? Because that life is waiting. And it begins with one simple choice: to speak affirmations with conviction, to open your heart to possibility, and to trust in the unseen power of your mind and your words. Think about Lily, a single mother juggling multiple jobs, exhausted and frustrated. One morning, she whispered, "I am open to receive $5,000 this month in unexpected ways." That day, a neighbor offered her a freelance job. The next week, a distant relative sent a small gift she hadn't expected. And soon, Lily's income began to flow in ways that felt almost magical. She didn't have to chase it, she had aligned herself with it. The pattern is clear: when you combine affirmations, belief, and action, the universe responds. Money begins to hunt you. Opportunities knock at your door. Life unfolds in ways you may never have imagined, and all because you planted the right seeds with your words and your heart. Here's the most important thing to remember: this is not luck. This is not magic in the superficial sense. This is alignment. Alignment of words, belief, intention, and action. When those elements come together, your reality begins to reflect the life you've been affirming. Each word you speak is a signal. Each thought you nurture is a magnet. And every small step you take in alignment with your affirmations is proof that you are ready to receive. So today, I want you to make a commitment. Look in the mirror and say aloud, "Money flows to me easily, abundantly, and effortlessly. I am a magnet for wealth. Opportunities find me wherever I go." Feel it in your chest. Feel the possibility, the excitement, the certainty. Repeat it until it becomes as real to you as the beating of your heart. Plant those seeds. Water them with belief. Watch them grow. The thrill of this journey is in the waiting, the anticipation, and the small signs that gradually build into undeniable proof. You may not see everything at once. You may not know the exact path or timing. But every step, every affirmation, every act of alignment brings you closer to the life you've imagined. Money will no longer be elusive. Opportunities will no longer slip past. Abundance will come to you naturally, effortlessly, and consistently. And here's the most inspiring truth: it starts today, with you, in this very moment. The power is in your hands. Your words, your mindset, your belief, they are the magnet. The universe is listening. Money, opportunity, and abundance are ready to find you. All that remains is for you to speak, to feel, to believe, and to act. So I ask you again, are you ready? Are you ready to let money hunt you? To step into the life you've always dreamed of? Say your words. Feel your belief. Trust the process. Take that first step. And watch as the universe rearranges itself to support your abundance, your freedom, and your dreams. Because the truth is simple, yet extraordinary. When you speak with conviction, align your mind and heart, and take inspired action, money will not hide. It will find you. And your life will never be the same. So I ask you, will you wait another day? Will you wait another hour? Or will you speak the words that change everything? Say it with me in your heart. Money flows to me. Money finds me. Money seeks me. Say it again. Money flows to me. Money finds me. Money seeks me. Feel it. Believe it. Live it. The world is not waiting, and neither should you. Every second you hesitate, opportunity passes. Every moment you doubt, abundance drifts just beyond reach. But the moment you commit, the moment you speak, the moment you act, everything begins to shift. Everything begins to move toward you. Do not wait. Do not fear. Say the words. Feel the words. Live the words. Plant the seeds of abundance today. Repeat them. Believe them. Watch as money, opportunity, and possibility hunt you down like they were always meant to. And remember this, because it will follow you long after you leave this room, long after this moment passes. The universe does not chase you. Money does not hide from you. Money hunts you, but only when you become the magnet it cannot resist. The power is yours. The moment is now. Speak it. Live it. Receive it. Money seeks you. Money finds you. Money hunts you.